Hello, everyone. I will talk to you about my way of life. So the art which I present to you is the art which how I organize my stability, my everyday routine. And this is the first time I presented to an audience. I only talked about it in one-on-one conversations. So this is for me a big premiere. So I would even say, so this is my 15 minutes of fame. And thank you for inviting me at the peak of your success. I feel like I'm allowed to enter on the top of your red line. That's a privilege. And to make it, interesting, I would say, so my stability, I live almost without money. I don't have an income. I live without a flat. Exactly, thank you. I hoped for this question. And I have in my life everything I need. I have a really stable stability, and I will talk about how I organized it. So first, a little bit about my background. I come from Ukraine originally. I'm from Kiev. I'm born in the Soviet Union, so I experienced a completely different type of society, which also, I think, contributed a lot to my choices in my life. So to give you one example, in my childhood, it was in the 90s when the country was bankrupt and the supermarkets were empty. It was totally normal to just go to the next building, knock on the door, ring on the door of neighbors, even people who you didn't know, and ask for butter or milk or eggs. And it was totally okay. People, if they didn't have something, they didn't give it to you. But if people had something, there was a culture of sharing because people knew how it is. People understood each other, that everybody had nothing. And that created a very strong sense of community. The lack of goods created this sense of being there for each other. And this was my childhood. And when I was 10 years old, we came to Germany. When I was 20 years old, after finishing school, I came to Berlin. And I came to Berlin because I felt that in this city, living a free life, you all know it in your own stories, I felt that this is the place where I can shape my very individual lifestyle. And back then, when I came to Berlin in 2005, my big plan was to become a filmmaker. And which button do I have? Okay, so just mood images. I don't have specific images. No, maybe the next one. So Berlin. And I was a filmmaker for 13, 14 years. And the first 5, 6, 7 years, I really experienced, I think, this last breaths of this Berlin from the 90s, which was disappearing very fast. And I made a lot of film projects without a budget, without people who did things for the first time, with experimenting, and people had time. The big difference between projects, when I did my last film projects 6, 7 years ago, it was very difficult to find time together to create something small without a budget. And in 2005, 2010, I was lucky that I experienced those last years where people didn't worry about money, and those times bit by bit disappeared. And my last years of filmmaking, it was for me a little bit more rough because I still had this spirit of doing things spontaneously, not applying for funds. Just creating projects out of questions, not out of specific pre-planned concepts. And the last film project which I did, it was for me a lucky transition to what I'm doing now. The whole stability which I have now, it started with this last film project where my part was to go in many neighborhoods and parts of Berlin and to interview people, to ring on doors, to visit strangers at home. So I did it for 2-3 years. It was a big project. Maybe somebody knows DAO. It was a project where we did a lot of research, a lot of interviews. And for 2-3 years, I interviewed thousands of people, listening to their stories. And at some point, I forgot that I was working for a project. I was completely fascinated to getting to know the neighborhoods, visiting people at their places, experiencing hospitality, overstepping this boundary of I ring at the door of somebody who doesn't even know that somebody would come, and I made this experience that people at first moment, of course, they are a little bit startled that somebody visits them, somebody comes to them, but I experienced a lot of hospitality, a lot of openness. And then while I was still on the payroll of this project, I was not doing it anymore for the project. I was doing it because I was curious about connecting with people, staying in their places, spending a lot of time with them. And it was for me important not to do it for a specific goal, but to have time to just listen to each other. And then I was fired from the project because they found out that I not really doing it for the event, for what was planned. And but it was for me a smooth transition into my thing which I'm doing now. And the thing which I'm doing now is I every day I wake up, I go out, whatever neighborhood I am now staying, and I meet every day maybe 15, 20, maybe 30 people. So my whole routine is about starting conversations with strangers. And at some point I thought, yeah, I can also go one step further. When they know me, I know them, I can invite them to listen to each other. So I started to organize talking circles. I have this green carpet, which I sometimes take with me on the bike. And when the weather is good, when it's possible to sit outside, I just bring together spontaneously strangers from very different backgrounds so they can listen to each other. And it doesn't have a specific goal, just the experiencing of having time for each other. This is for me, I would consider this is the work which has for me the most value. To sit down and to take time, whatever time everybody has, to listen to each other. This is what actually I miss everywhere else. And sometimes people talk about very personal stuff. Sometimes there are very often tears in those conversations. So right now there is not enough time to tell all those stories, but it's enormously a lot what I hear from people, what people want to share with each other. Sometimes it happens that somebody starts to sing, and then another person says, "Oh, I live around the corner. I bring my guitar." Suddenly, for example, this summer I had a Ukrainian women's choir accompanied by electric guitar of a punk guy, and it worked, and it happened spontaneously. The way I do it, before I put out this carpet, I walk for a few hours in the neighborhood and just ring on doors, talk to people who walk past me, and suggest them to come to a meeting without knowing what will happen. I have a name for this project of those encounters. It's a German word. If somebody understands German, it's called Begegnungswerkstatt, and it means place for encounters, repair shop for encounters, and right now I have also something like a community where people come regularly. Even if I do it on the other side of the city, some people travel for the whole city because they are happy that there are places where you can listen to each other. And what also happened on the side of this work, what I didn't plan, is when people asked me about what I'm doing, I said, yeah, I don't have my own flat. I stay here and there. And people started to offer me, oh, we go away for a week. Can you take care of our cat? And then very often even strangers who I met just 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, they say, yeah, it's we have a good feeling with you. You get our second key, and you can stay at our place. And we are happy if you pet the cat. The cat is happy, and you can be happy there. And I became, without planning it, an expert in cat sitting. So I have here one person whose cat I was already sitting a number of times, and it's amazing how it. So this is part of my stability, that people offer me after a short conversation, they offer me trust, and I don't expect that trust is possible. But this is maybe for me the central element of what I consider as a work of value, that I create spaces where people give me trust. I feel the responsibility of contributing whatever I can contribute. When people offer me their places without a cat, without me doing something there, I ask them, so can I repair something in the house? Can I do something? And we always find something. So it's give and give. So it's not, for me, it's very important that I'm not the needy person, but it's something in exchange that I always happy that it goes both ways. And this is the stability which works for me already for almost 4 years. So in March, April, it will be 4 years that I'm a nomadic. I'm organizing those talking circles every week. Right now, where the weather is bad, sometimes I do talking circles in people's flats. So if somebody says, "Oh, what do you do?" I can offer my flat, and then strangers come to their places, and I'm hosting it. And the people who live there, they just offer their private spaces to become public spaces, or intimate public. It's kind of a mixture of public events, but at the same time, it's very, very intimate talking circles, never more than 8 people. And I want to continue it. For me, this is, I feel that with this way of life, with this very simple idea, just having conversations, finding connections, I found my way of enjoying my life. It has for me a big value. I don't feel that I need something more. And I never met someone who is doing something similar. So actually, I'm also very curious. I'm very curious how you guys react to this. I'm very curious what you would tell me later when we talk. Maybe you know someone who's doing something similar. I feel that I'm at the beginning of something. So those are all very little steps. I feel that I'm changing the world, starting with myself, and it's really changing the way of how you can go through life, how you connect with the world. And I feel that it can also lead to much more. So I'm very curious what can be done with it in the future. So I'm not sure whether I'm here. Yeah, freedom. Yeah, actually, it's interesting. I would not consider myself being free from everything. I'm dependent on people. So I feel that I'm free, but I'm free not because I'm on a distance to everything. I'm dependent on things. But this is exactly the type of dependency which is for me, the best version of dependency. This is the dependency which makes me feel that I'm authentically myself. Maybe for other people it's not freedom. So I tell you one thing. There are so many little points which you can tell about this process. But if I sleep for the first time in a new place, I have already the feeling that it's a safe space for me. If it's quiet, if for example, when I do cat sitting, if the cat is not too annoying and not too cuddly, I feel that I have the quiet. I feel that I have the safe space, and actually the most frequent answer when I tell this story to others, people say, yeah, I could not do, Andrej, what you do because I would not have the safe space. I feel the safe space if I have for one night this quiet atmosphere. And this is my definition of having my safe space. And then next morning I can continue. And I'm even super happy staying at places when it's only for one night. It works for me as a safe space, or as a temporary home. So the idea of home has for me a different meaning.
And it's never too late to be famous.
Let's see. I have again, I put this image twice because this is for me the central image, what I try to achieve repeatedly. I think this is what we all need, those listening to each other. Listen to your art, and listening to each other, listening to everyone has an art of something inside them. And it's amazing how much people who even didn't know that they have something to tell, how much they can tell. It becomes sometimes very therapeutical. So many people tell about their very deep emotional stories, and I feel blessed being around. So I don't have a clear ending to my presentation. Maybe. So there is one kind of I have always problems saying the word project because I don't want to make things packed and going toward a specific goal. I like to create processes. A process without a specific result. For me, encounters are projects which when they work, they work without needing a result. But one thing crystallized, which will come very soon. So on New Year's night, I did it already last year and the year before. I connected a lot of home parties. So people do, of course, a lot of home parties on the New Year's night. And I connect like 15 or 20 home parties, which are not too far away from each other, and groups and bubbles of people who don't know each other. And if the hosts are open to that, I suggest them, so your guests can rotate from one party to another, and I send musicians who also travel from one party to another, or some kind of performers, or some kind of surprise acts, or food, or somebody who presents something or tells stories. And I create a rotation between like 15, 20, maybe 25 home parties. And then different bubbles connect with each other, different age groups, maybe even people who have different political views. When people spend time with each other and have a good time, it works. It's even okay if people have completely different perspectives on life. And so on the 31st of December and the 1st of January, there will be another rotation. And right now I'm putting together a number of those home parties, and there will be a festival of those private spaces where people share their privacy with strangers. So let's see. Yeah, cats. There is what I noticed about cats. It's interesting that the humans, even the people who live there, they're always the ones who are rotating somewhere. But the cats are the stable ones. You can rely on cats. They are the true owners of the spaces. So if the cat doesn't like me, then it's trouble. But if the cat likes me, I know that everything goes well. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think that I can tell more about the general stuff without going too much into details. I have one request of you, maybe also to the people on the other side of the screen. Don't tell it to my mother. She is the only person I could not tell it to her yet. And she expects of me that I have a typical stability. And I'm a little bit worried that she might have a heart attack if she finds out what I'm doing. And even if I tell her that I'm happy and that I have everything I need, that's the only negative side of my whole structure. I cannot tell it to the closest person in my life. We talk every day on the phone, and at the same time, for 4 years, she doesn't know it. So please, if somebody knows my mother, don't spread the word about me. So I'm very curious about your feedback, about your questions. This is the first time I presented it. So for me, it's very exciting to see what happens. And I want to make more out of it. I have the feeling that this is a beginning. This is the beginning of a bigger journey. Thank you for the mood images. The only image which came from me was the circle carpet. Everything else was provided by Michał, and it's very appropriate. My journey is very open to changing and to evolving, to transforming into something else. And I'm doing it because I want to find my true self, and I think I'm on a good way, but there are so many things which can come in the future, and and every encounter, every conversation, every energy of some kind from somebody else tells me something about my direction. So I'm very curious about the feedback, and thank you very much. That's it.